What's up everyone, Soldier First Class here. In today's mission, will the Final Fantasy VII Remake begin a new Final Fantasy VII compilation? The answer is complicated, but I believe it is possible. In this video, we'll be going over 3 interviews, one with remake producer Yoshinori Kitase, and 2 with director Tetsuya Nomura. These interviews may shed some light on whether or not we'll see a new compilation. If you're not sure what makes up the original compilation, it includes Before Crisis, Crisis Core, the original Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children, Dirge of Cerberus, and the On the Way to a Smile novel. For years, fans have been asking for the original game to be remade, and there's a large number of fans that would like to see the whole compilation done this way. The developers have been hinting around it for years, but have never really confirmed anything. This was the case for the Final Fantasy VII Remake until 2015, and here we are in the lead up to E3, a show where the remake is expected to get a release date. So let's take a look at what Kitase and Nomura have had to say about the compilation over the years. In 2016, Yoshinori Kitase had an interview with Game Informer magazine about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. In that interview, Joe Juba asked Kitase 10 questions, 2 of which dealt with the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. The first question was, the compilation of Final Fantasy VII added new wrinkles to the story and lore behind the game. How is the team approaching the integration of those new elements into the remake? Kitase answered, it's not to say that all or some of the characters from the spin-offs or other compilation works will appear in the remake, but if there are any areas where we can use the settings of the characters, we do want to try to incorporate it in there so it gives off that sense of nuance and those other stories existing. Joe followed up that question with, so there isn't any pressure to include every character and storyline from the compilation content? He answered, yes, there may be instances where the characters appear themselves or are just referenced in dialogue, but of course it would be difficult to follow up on everything that happened in this universe, so maybe some of the characters who weren't as famous won't appear or be mentioned. But in terms of the characters that remain in the memories of our fans, we do want to try our best to integrate that in some fashion in the world. I realize this interview took place in 2016, so it's a bit outdated and plans do change. However, at one point Kitase believed that they would still try to work in elements of the compilation into the remake, and that included famous characters. Other than Zack, who is already in Final Fantasy VII, Angeal and Genesis are the likely 2 for this category. Angeal especially because he was the first wielder of the Buster Sword. Fast forward a year later to the Magic 2017 conference. Remake director Tetsuya Nomura fielded questions from gaming journalists about the remake and the compilation. Nomura was asked, would it make sense to you to create an HD remaster of compilation of Final Fantasy VII on a unique platform like you did with Kingdom Hearts? Beyond the possibility of making it, would you like to do this? He stated, concerning Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a title loaded with a lot of mystery for now, it will be different from the original Final Fantasy VII. If we make a compilation, these games will hardly have an overall coherence. It will be difficult because there is no more continuity between the compilation and the remake for the moment. Initially, I took this answer at face value and decided after reading it that the compilation was over and that Square Enix was leaving it in the past. However, while doing research for this video, I realized something. If there's one thing I've noticed about Tetsuya Nomura, it's that he loves to hide tiny details in his comments. Let's take a look at what he said. It will be difficult because there is no more continuity for the moment. Could he be hinting that the compilation will take on a new form for the remake? Would this new compilation tie in better than the original one did? With the remake team focusing on rewriting original concepts, it would appear that the remake will be its own canon. With those rewrites, that means the story elements from the remake may have changed to the point where the original compilation doesn't make sense when paired with it. This isn't really the big deal that it sounds like, because the original compilation didn't always match up well within its own universe. Square Enix could write an entirely new epic based off of the new Final Fantasy VII Remake, with all of it tying together nicely and the project becoming one cohesive universe. This would make every entry line up properly and tell a wonderful story, while also keeping the traditional elements that made it so endearing to fans. For the final interview, let's fast forward again to November 2018. In an interview with Silicon Ara's Sato, Tetsuya Nomura talked about a possible compilation title once the Final Fantasy VII Remake was complete. Sato asked Nomura, when can we play Before Crisis Final Fantasy VII again? Nomura answered, perhaps not everyone is aware of this, but I am working on a remake of Final Fantasy VII. I've been thinking about ideas for the remake's release and just spoke with producer Yoshinori Kitase about it today. We have a lot of the old guys thinking about all kinds of developments that can accompany the remake in some form. If we could, maybe do some kind of compilation title. For now, please wait for Final Fantasy VII's turn. This was really big for fans of the original compilation, as we could be seeing a new one once the remake is complete. Both Nomura and Kitase have interest in doing it, and from a business standpoint it makes sense. If you're going to remake the original game, why not make extended media that will accompany it? Releasing a new movie, prequels and sequels that expand the story even further, and even new books would generate massive revenue for the company. If Square Enix decided that it was time to create a new extended universe, remake the compilation, and breathe new life into the franchise, would you be excited? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to omni-slash that like button. Let me know in the comments section below if you'd be excited for a new compilation. Subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to join the ranks of Soldier today. For everything Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.